Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my presentation. My name is Kyle Anderson, and the topic of my presentation today is the history and literature of the American Romantic period. The reason that this topic is useful to you is we're going to find out what makes the Romantic period stand out among the other literary periods. We're going to talk about three things. These are, firstly, the literature of the period. Secondly, we're going to discuss the history of the American Romantic period. And finally, we're going to look at a hero in the Romantic period named Don Juan, who was authored by Lord Byron around the year 1819. Due to limited time, I have only 3 to 5 minutes, I request that you ask your questions at the end of the presentation. Firstly, I will summarize the literary period. The American Romantic period was a time in which the imagination thrived. It was a time when authors were straying away from the logic and reason of periods in the past and delving into the idea of how great things in life could be. People were focusing on the individuals rather than society as a whole, and realizing that they wanted to break free of the oppression of city life and return to the simplicity of the country. People were looking to the great societies of history for a sense of wisdom, and the common man was quickly becoming the literary hero. Here are some of the authors from the Romantic period. Authors include Edgar Allan Poe, Nathaniel Hawthorne, Herman Melville, Emily Dickinson, Washington Irving, and Lord Byron. Now we will move on to my second point, which is about the historical period. The Romantic period in American literature began in about 1815, which was approximately 50 years after the American Revolution. This was the time of the Industrial Revolution. People were full of optimism. This rapid progress led to overcrowded, dirty cities from which the people wanted an escape. Many people immigrated to the West to explore the new frontier. Lastly, we will move on to my third point, which is about Lord Byron's Don Juan as the romantic Byronic hero. During the Romantic period, the literary hero was changing. Gone were the days of the classic hero. The new hero was an average person who was slightly outcast from traditional society. He was dark and mysterious and always clever. These new heroes were often set in contrast with the classic good guy to highlight their attributes and to act as a sort of dramatic foil. This new hero was given the term the Byronic hero after Lord Byron's characters who exhibited many of these qualities. One of these such characters was Don Juan. Don Juan had all of these qualities. He was a clever outcast who wandered around and had many adventures. In conclusion, my objective was to illuminate the American Romantic period. I have covered 3 main points. Firstly, we discussed the literature of the period. Secondly, we talked about the historical scene. And finally, we discussed Don Juan as the Byronic hero. I hope you have found this presentation useful. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? If there are no more questions, then this concludes my presentation on the American Romantic period. Thank you.